I woke up from surgery to find my wallet gone and my wife missing. A nurse whispered she took your car too. 2 hours later, I got a voicemail from her. You're on your own now, loser. I just laughed because she forgot one thing. This morning, she was screaming outside my office building, holding a sign, please come home. They stole my morphine pump and left me with a catheter. That's how I knew it wasn't just a bad dream. I came out of surgery, staring at the ceiling tiles, high as a blimp and dry-mouthed, and the first thing I noticed was that my wedding ring was gone. Second thing? The wallet I'd clipped to my 4-pole, also gone. Third? No phone. No charger. No wife. Just a nurse with shaky hands and guilt bleeding out of her pores. Sir, she whispered, glancing down the hall, your wife took your bag. And your keys. She said you told her to. She didn't even try to sell it. Just said it like a curse. And that's when I knew. 2 hours later, once the anesthesia haze lifted enough to think, I got the voicemail. A slow, deliberate, hate-laced little eulogy. You're on your own now, loser. You'll figure out why eventually. Or maybe not. Doesn't matter. I'm done pretending. Good luck paying your bills from a hospital bed. Then, a laugh. Hers. The same one she used when she pretended to like my friends or held hands at her mom's funeral. And that should have broken me. It didn't. I just laughed. Because she forgot one thing, she wasn't the only one with secrets. And I'd been waiting for this day since February 3rd. February 3rd was the first time she tried to medicate me without consent. Yeah, you read that right. Subtle though. Real clever. She told me I was getting weirdly paranoid about our vitamins. Switch brands. Bought those green gelatinous capsules that smell like dead lawn clippings. Said they were organic. Said they were approved by her chiropractor friend. I took one. 30 minutes later, I was on the bathroom floor, knees locking, vision pulsing. She said it was stress. Said I was dehydrated. Said I should just relax. But I kept the bottle. Had it tested. Trace levels of something unpronounceable and banned in 4 countries. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed to know how deep it went. Because she wasn't always like this. We used to build Lego models at 2 a.m. and talk about moving to Denmark. We used to walk in the rain without umbrellas. We used to be. No. That's a lie I told myself. She was always like this. I just hadn't caught up yet. By March I'd installed cameras. Not in the house. Too obvious. But in the garage. The hallway. The tree outside the living room window. It sounds nuts, right? Until you wake up with your woke up disoriented with a strange taste and your wife claiming you just had a weird dream. Turns out dreams don't cause nosebleeds or memory gaps. Drugs do. And one Tuesday I watched her on the feed, mixing something into my protein shake. Smiling while she did it. Humming. I started storing my drinks in the neighbor's mini fridge. Said our power was flickering. He's old and half-deaf, didn't ask questions. That same week, she joined a yoga class I didn't know about. And suddenly, I was being billed for gas station snacks in neighborhoods I'd never driven to. My credit card flagged a $700 lingerie purchase from a boutique named Luxskin. When I asked her about it, she said, oh, was that not a shared card? Like she tripped on a sidewalk crack and spilled $700 worth of lace and latex. But here's the thing. I didn't confront her then either. I just got quieter. April 12th was my appendix surgery. Emergency. Pain hit like a train, dropped me mid-shower. She found me. Called 911. She looked almost concerned. At the ER, I signed consent forms with my left hand, trying not to throw up. She kissed my forehead and said, you'll be fine. I'll be right here. She never stayed. Because she was busy emptying our accounts. Our safe. Our joint storage unit gone. She cleared everything while I was under general anesthesia. But she didn't know one thing. I'd opened a private account back in February. I'd sold crypto I never told her about. And I'd placed one key asset in a trust fund, her name wasn't on it. I also left something else. A single USB drive. In a sealed envelope labeled, for Dylan if something happens to me. Dylan's my boss. And Dylan doesn't like being lied to. When I got discharged from the hospital, I didn't go home. I went straight to the office. Shuffling in like a zombie in a gown, for scars still fresh, rental crutches squeaking. I looked deranged. People whispered. I didn't care. Because I knew what was coming. My boss took one look at me and said, you're supposed to be on bed rest. I dropped the envelope on his desk. Then I said, play the first file. It's a voice memo. It was her. My wife. My beautiful, murderous, treacherous wife laughing about how she was going to drain that pathetic idiot's bank account while he was doped up in a hospital bed. Dylan went pale. He opened the next file. An email chain. Between her and someone named E. They were planning a getaway. A fake identity. Photoshopped plane tickets. A $150,000 transfer from our savings that hadn't gone through yet because of a flag I'd manually placed with my bank's fraud department. Dylan leaned back. Jesus. I said nothing. He said, you're going to press charges, right? I shook my head. No, I said. I'm going to do something better. The next 3 days were preparation. Dylan lent me a conference room, a couch, his assistant. I filed paperwork. I pulled logs. I hired a PI, one who owed Dylan a favor. And then I got the cherry on top. A photo. Her. At a motel. With E. E was her yoga instructor. The same guy who once gave me a smirk and said, "You're lucky. Not many men can handle a woman like her." She was in fishnets. He was filming. I sent that video, just the first 30 seconds, to her mother, to her pastor, to her new boss, the job she hadn't told me she applied for, the one that was going to relocate her. Oops. Guess she doesn't get to be head of client strategy anymore. This morning was the finale. I walked into work like nothing happened. Tie straight, eyes dry. I stepped into the elevator. And there she was. Outside. Holding a sign. "Please come home. I'm sorry." Crying. Screaming. People filming. She tried to run toward me. Security stopped her. I didn't even look down. Just pressed the button for 14. And as the doors closed, I heard her shriek. "You ruined me." She's not wrong. But she started it. And she forgot who she married. Update 1. Update 1. She called the cops and told them I was holding her dog hostage. She forgot the dog was microchipped to me. First, thanks to everyone who reached out. I haven't even scratched the surface yet. So, after the sign stunt outside my office, I figured she'd try to regroup. But I underestimated just how far gone she really was. That night, I stayed in the spare unit above my boss's garage. He offered, said it had been empty since his son left for college. Clean bed, private bath, just me and a bottle of Tylenol, staring at the ceiling trying to process the warpath I'd just carved. At 2:17 a.m., the calls started. Unknown number. Over and over. I finally picked up on the fourth ring. Her voice, ragged and raw, came through like static. "You took everything." Then click. Next morning, I went to grab coffee from the gas station across the street. The cashier looked at me weird. Said, "Hey, man, your wife okay?" She was just in here screaming about a dog. I froze. Because I hadn't even thought about Charlie yet. Our dog. Well, my dog. We got him before the wedding. But the adoption forms? All in my name. Vet visits? My credit card. Microchip? Scanned straight to my number. And I'd had the presence of mind to take him to my cousin's before I went into surgery, just a precaution. She didn't know that. She called the police. Told them I stole her emotional support animal. That I was keeping it from her as retaliation. Claimed I was mentally unwell post-op and a danger to both myself and the dog. I got the call from an officer while I was mid-meeting. Explained everything. Gave them the vet's number. Sent over the chip registration. 2 hours later, they closed the case. But she wasn't done. That night, I got an envelope under my windshield wiper. No stamp. Hand-delivered. Inside? A printed-out page from my high school yearbook. A photo of me in theater club. Circle around my face in red ink. The words. "Everyone's going to see what you really are." The next morning, someone leaked my old medical records. Yeah, you read that right. Mental health note from my teens. Panic attack after my dad died. One stay in outpatient care. Nothing I'd ever hidden, but nothing I'd ever advertised either. She posted it to Facebook. Captioned, "This is who's been tormenting me." The comments lit up. She deserves peace. Men like that don't change. You can't reason with the mentally ill. My inbox filled with death threats. I didn't flinch. Because this was her burning the last of her matches. She thought she could character assassinate her way out of it. She didn't know I already had the footage of her and E staging their first fake argument pretending they'd just met at yoga. She didn't know I'd intercepted her second phone. The one she used for all her side hustles. What she did next made my stomach turn. She messaged my mom. The woman with dementia who barely remembers her own birthday. She told her I'd gone off my meds and might hurt someone. My mom called the nurses sobbing. They had to sedate her. That was it. No more leashes. No more grace. I called Dylan. We pushed the button. Monday morning, her employer will receive a full, notarized dossier. Emails. Messages. Financial theft. Coordinated psychological abuse. Evidence of tampering with my medication. And her new company? Compliance-focused. Zero tolerance. Guess who's about to be jobless, homeless, and friendless? Guess who's about to learn what alone really feels like? She wanted to break me. Instead, she revealed what was already broken inside her. Final update soon. There's still one piece left. The person who helped her from the inside. They thought I'd never find out. They were wrong. Update 2. The man who helped her escape was my brother. And he took something worse than money. After the dossier drop, things went quiet. Too quiet. Her social media vanished overnight. No new posts. No frantic live videos. Just digital ghosting. Even E deleted his profiles like they were fleeing the fallout. I thought that was the end. Until yesterday. I got a package. No return address. Brown cardboard. Light. Inside? A single Polaroid. Charlie, my dog, restrained near a tree, unable to bark. Eyes wide and terrified. And in the background, just barely visible through the trees? My parents' old cabin. The one in the mountains we hadn't visited in over a decade. I froze. Not just from the photo, but from what was written on the back. In my brother's handwriting. "You should have stayed down, hero. I haven't spoken to my brother in 3 years. Last I heard, he was bartending in another state, broke and bitter. We weren't close. He always thought I was the soft one. He was the golden child. The one with fists and fast cars and no consequences. Turns out, he'd been in contact with her for months. Emails, DMs, even cash transfers. I missed it because he used an alias, Kyle D. But the bank records from the trust picked it up when the funds moved. He helped her hide the money. Gave her a burner card. Maybe more. And now? He is Charlie. I called the police. They said without a name, without proof of current location, their hands were tied. Could be old, they said. Could be fake. But I knew that tree. I knew that cabin. So I went. Didn't tell anyone. Packed a bag, left my phone in the glove box, took the long drive up winding roads that hadn't been paved since the Bush administration. The cabin looked like hell. Rotting steps. Broken window. But the door? Unlocked. Inside was worse. Graffiti. Beer cans. Moldy mattress in the corner. And in the center of the room? A cooler. With a note taped on top. Found your dog. I opened it. No body. Just hair. Clumps of it. Some of it clearly torn out. And a collar of Charlie's, bent, stained, reeking. I dropped it. Looked around. And that's when I saw the camcorder. Propped on the shelf. Still recording. I hit stop. Took out the SD card. Brought it back to the city. Popped it into my laptop. What I saw made me throw up. Not blood. Not gore. Something worse. It was my wife. And my brother. Laughing. Drunk. Screaming. Taking turns taunting the dog. Roughly handling the dog until it got scared. Calling it his precious little baby. Her saying, let's see how he handles this loss. Him replying, you said you wanted to break him, right? Then her words. Clear. Sober. No. I want to erase him. That video is timestamped 2 days before the surgery. Before she left me in that hospital bed. Before she told the world I was the villain. They planned this. Not just to steal from me, but to destroy me emotionally. And my brother? He didn't do it for money. He did it because I once told a girl he liked that he hit me when we were kids. He got suspended. Lost his scholarship. And he never forgave me. He waited 15 years to get even. The final twist? The dog in the photo? Not Charlie. Different markings. Staged. Charlie is missing. Or worse. I'm filing felony charges. Financial fraud. Pet mistreatment. Dangerous medication incident. Identity theft. They won't run far. They think they're clever. But I have the video. And a list of their last 12 GPS pings from the burner phone they thought I didn't know about. Next post? Their arrest. And what they left behind in the crawl space under the cabin. Because yay. I checked. And what I found down there. It's not just about me anymore. Update 3, I found what was under the cabin. And now I know they've done this before. The crawl space wasn't locked. It should have been. It was just a rotting wooden hatch half swallowed by weeds. I only noticed it because I tripped. The earth gave a little thud. Hollow. I pried it open. The smell hit first. Not decay. Not death. Plastic. Storage bins. 6 of them. Sealed tight. Labeled in Sharpie. Winter, documents, tools, keep. I pulled out keep. Inside were photos. IDs. Credit cards. Dozens. All different names. Same faces. My wife. My brother. Sometimes together. Sometimes not. Sometimes with other people. Always smiling. Always blending in. One of the photos showed her with a man I'd never seen before, older, glasses, kind eyes. Date on the back, 2020. I flipped to the next one. Same man. But this time? Black eye. Split lip. Blank stare. A note attached, left town. No forwarding. I checked the documents folder. Driver's licenses. Bank slips. Receipts. A whole spreadsheet printed out, listing names, dates, and notes. Took $22K. Gone. Used burner card. Ghosted. Hospitalized. No follow-up. Each entry had a number. And one entry? Had my name. Number 19. Soft target. Slow bleed. Max exposure. They were running games. Long cons. Psychological warfare. Bleed someone emotionally, financially, reputationally until there's nothing left. Then vanish. It wasn't about money. It was about destruction. They weren't just toxic. They were predators. And I was number 19. I brought the bins to Dylan's office that night. He didn't say a word while I showed him the photos. The files. The spreadsheet. Just poured 2 glasses of whiskey and locked the door. He called in favors. Serious ones. I won't say what agencies got involved, but within 48 hours that cabin was cordoned off and sealed. The crawl space was photographed, bagged, logged. By the end of the week, they had warrants. Arrest orders. Extradition files for 3 states. Turns out, number 12 pressed charges in Nevada. Number 7 vanished in 2018. Still missing. And the man from the photos? Found in a psychiatric facility under a different name. He hasn't spoken in 3 years. When they showed him my wife's photo, he screamed for 4 minutes straight. They picked her up at a gas station 3 towns over. She was wearing a wig, holding a fake baby bump, pretending to be a single mom on the run from a violent ex. Classic. My brother? Wasn't with her. He's still out there. But he's not clever. He's sloppy. Every burner he used was linked to an email that eventually circled back to an old gaming account I helped him set up when we were kids. The agents know. They're watching. I don't have to chase him. He'll lead them straight to himself. As for Charlie? Still no sign. They're combing the woods. Using drones. Volunteers. But I'm not holding on to hope. I think he was the final move. The last thing she could take from me. Not for money. Not even for revenge. Just to prove she could. This morning I got an envelope in the mail. No stamp. No return. Just a key. Attached was a note in her handwriting. You lose. Forever. E. But here's the thing. The key wasn't to anything of mine. It was to a locker. At the bus terminal downtown. I went. I shouldn't have. Inside? A wedding photo. Our wedding. Ripped down the middle, her side shredded into ribbons. And underneath? A thumb drive. Labeled Next. Update 4. I opened the thumb drive. What I found wasn't about me. It was a blueprint for you. I waited 3 days before I plugged it in. Something about it felt radioactive. Like touching it would burn away whatever fragments of peace I still had. But I had to know. The drive had one folder. Seed bank. Inside were 41 subfolders. Labeled only by initials and dates. Each folder held notes. Photos. Videos. Private messages. Voice memos. It wasn't just a record of her past targets. It was a curriculum. A training program. Each folder walked through the exact process of how to dismantle someone's life from the inside. Build trust, Phase 1. Exploit weakness, Phase 2. Emotional withholding, Phase 3. Discredit preemptively, Phase 4. Every tactic was mapped out. Word-for-word scripts. Email templates. Suggested timelines. It read like a cold, clinical manual for soul extraction. And then I found the worst part. A video. Low quality. Night vision. Clearly shot on an old camera. She's sitting in a motel room. Wearing glasses. Hair tied back. Calm. Smiling. And she says, if you're watching this, it means you've made it through the beta tests. Congratulations. You're ready to try your first real erosion. She explains the goal isn't just to manipulate. It's to erase. To take someone ordinary and leave behind a husk so empty that even their memories rot. Not for revenge. Not for justice. For sport. She describes identity rot as a game. The long defeat. Where your mark destroys themselves for you, thinking it's their fault. My name comes up at the end. Number 19, promising start. Got lazy with the poisoning. We'll learn from it. She wasn't even upset she failed. She was refining the method. I gave it all to the agents. They've confirmed at least 6 other people were in training, including a therapist, a social worker, and a man in IT security who taught others how to erase digital trails. They were designing a system for emotional manipulation, to infect relationships, friendships, whole communities. You think the story's just about betrayal? It's not. It's about infection. Someone near you right now might be learning from her, might be using you as the next test subject, gaslighting you with smiles, rewriting your memories, stealing your voice while pretending they're helping you find it. And when they disappear, they'll leave behind one thing. A hollow version of who you used to be. So if someone in your life makes you doubt your past, your worth, your instincts, run. Not because you're crazy, but because they've already started the game. You're just late to realize it. Charlie never came back. They found his collar near a stream 2 miles from the cabin. That was all. I buried it in the woods behind Dylan's place. No grave. Just silence. I moved out of the city. Changed my name. Not to hide. To start something that isn't built on a rotted foundation. But some nights I wake up at 3:19 a.m. No reason. Just the sense that someone, somewhere, is staring at a screen with my old face on it. Studying. Preparing. Getting ready for number 42.